you have billions of soldiers dying across a million worlds, an empire built on Gothic ruins, and constant total war. The Warhammer 40K setting is visually incredible, but figuring out how to start reading about it can feel just as brutal as the battles themselves. The history of this universe stretches back 65 million years, ancient alien empires waking from hibernation, artificial intelligence wiping out humanity, and 10 millennia of religious decay. There is no clean, linear timeline you can easily track. The sheer volume of text compounds the problem. Games Workshop's Black Library has published over 600 official novels, novellas, and audio dramas. Most newcomers do the exact same thing. They Google where to start reading 40K, and they look for a definitive Book 1 to walk them safely through the lore from beginning to end. Warhammer 40,000 functions as a vast, non-linear setting where hundreds of independent stories happen simultaneously. Navigating this volume depends on matching your existing reading habits to one of three specific paths. A strict chronological approach forces you to jump between disconnected characters and time periods across every novel. Without a consistent narrative anchor, this lack of context creates a mental friction that eventually stalls your progress. Picking a starting book that requires deep background knowledge causes immediate reader paralysis. If a novel assumes you already understand the complex politics of the Inquisition, you'll spend more time reading wikis than reading the actual book. The Horus Heresy is the most commonly recommended starting point. It covers the foundational civil war of the setting, but it is a massive, daunting series consisting of 54 full-length books. Forcing yourself to read 54 books in strict numerical order is a huge risk. If you hit a subplot or a Space Marine Legion you simply don't care about, your momentum dies. Selecting an entry vector works best when you align the book's format with your personal commitment level and reading habits. This chart shows the framework we use to evaluate the three different reading paths. We weigh the effort a book demands against the type of knowledge it delivers. The x-axis measures the required time commitment. This ranges from a quick 10-page short story to a multi-year saga. The y-axis measures the scale of the lore you're absorbing. Does this book cover a minor border skirmish, or does it detail universe-altering history? Every single 40K book ever written involves a specific trade-off on this matrix between the effort required to read it and the macro-level context you walk away with. The first entry vector is the short story anthology, books like Crusade or the Black Library novella series. The mechanical benefit here is speed. You get localized 10 to 20-page bursts of storytelling that you can consume in a single afternoon. This format lets you rapidly test different factions, alien races, and writing styles. If a specific story is a bust, you drop it and move to the next one with zero penalty. The trade-off plots down here. By taking in small, disconnected chunks, you sacrifice grand galactic context and deep, overarching character development. Anthologies are the ultimate safety net. If you are short on time or highly cautious about spending money on a dense sci-fi novel, this is where you start. The second vector is the omnibus or standalone novel. A prime example is Eisenhorn, a gritty detective story following an Imperial Inquisitor. To use this path, you just need to pick a specific aesthetic, faction, or piece of cover art that you already think looks cool. You get a highly engaging, continuous character arc. These books stand entirely on their own, allowing you to follow a contained plot without needing to constantly check a wiki. The trade-off plots right in the middle. You experience the universe through a heavily biased, narrow lens, meaning you miss the macro plot of the wider galaxy. This factor works perfectly for readers who prefer traditional sci-fi trilogies and want strong character focus over historical textbooks. The final vector is the Horus Heresy, specifically starting with the foundational first three novels. This is the mythological genesis of the 40K universe. Taking place 10,000 years in the past, it details the civil war tearing humanity apart. The ultimate benefit is a complete, ground-up understanding of why the current Imperium is broken, alongside the origins of the major galactic players. But the input requirement is extreme. You are signing up for a multi-year reading project spanning dozens of different authors and narrative styles. That brings a severe risk of reader burnout. Getting bogged down in a slow middle book often causes readers to abandon the franchise entirely. This vector is strictly for fast readers and lore optimizers who demand a chronological understanding of the main galactic plot. This scorecard maps out 3 distinct reader profiles. To find your exact starting point, you just need to self-identify your reading habits. First is the cautious reader. You might be easily distracted, new to sci-fi, or just want to sample the flavor of the setting first. Buy the Crusade anthology or a short novella. Test the waters before you commit. Next is the faction fan. You were brought in by a video game or a specific miniature, and you want a continuous, character-driven trilogy. Buy the Eisenhorn or a Titanicus omnibus. Get invested in a specific cast of characters. Finally, the lore optimizer. You are a completionist who wants the foundational history laid out clearly. Start with Horus Ryzen and prepare for the long haul. The single greatest predictor of enjoying a 40K book is how well its format matches your real-world attention span. Strict reading orders are a myth enforced by fans. They're not a rule designed by the publishers. It is completely normal to not understand every reference in a book. Looking things up later and piecing the puzzle together is part of the intended experience. Preserving your own momentum and excitement is the only thing that actually matters when exploring this vast universe. Pick the faction, vehicle, or event that you personally think looks the coolest. Find a book about it and start reading. In the grim darkness of the far future, the only truly wrong choice is forcing yourself to read a book you aren't interested in.